All right, we're going to talk about macros, how to make, edit, delete, import, export, and use them. I recommend that you get these done as soon as possible, and that on each of the first patient of any kind, for instance, adult male or female, young male or female, infant male or female, you make your macros so that you can use them going forward. Delaying this only increases your pain, so your trainer can help you get that done. The first thing you're going to do is go into your patient's chart. And without regard for anything that may be true for this patient, you're going to just enter the absolutely most normal exam that you can think of. This person doesn't have anything entered yet, which is good. If you want to edit individually, you click on the subtitle. If you want to see the whole thing, you click on the main title. And we're just going to do very briefly your absolutely most normal exam. And I'm not going to click the whole thing, but just think about what you do on every single person and what it would look like if it was totally and completely normal. Then the other important thing to do is, by the way, you can use these click buttons, but you don't have to. You can just type in here whatever you want to do. These, if you click them once, it checks yes. If you click them twice, it clicks no. If you right click, you can go straight to no. We'll call that the whole exam, but enter the whole entire exam as you would for a completely normal exam. And then hit enter. It will appear over here as a totally normal exam. Then you come over here, click macro. It default takes you to the use macro. You're going to want to make a new macro, and it will give you the option of all the documentation you've entered on this patient, which in this case is going to be very limited. But if you had, for instance, entered a history of present illness, you would want to make sure you didn't include that in your macro. So in this case, we're going to include all of these things. You could select or unselect any of them individually. And we're going to call this demo exam. Saving the macro. And there's our demo exam that we just made the macro on. If you want to edit, fundamentally what you have to do is, for instance, if you decided you wanted to edit the gastro course, you would use it, which you can do by just clicking this blue link or by highlighting the radio button and coming down here to the append. But the easiest thing to do is just click on it unless you've already got something in that category. And then let's say you've realized there's a typo. So you highlight this. This is another important point. In the system, the live system at work, when you click this to edit, click this little link right here, this text will appear already in this box. When you're using Mac, which is typically only at home, this box will appear to be empty, but you can highlight and copy this, drop it over here, and then you can actually you can edit it. It seems like you can't because it seems like nothing's there, but it will, in fact, happily edit, and you use the change button. If you hit reevaluate, it will put another copy in. And you can see that that went over here. and it did in fact edit the text that was over here, even though this box was empty when it pulled up. That is a quirk of Mac, which is only applicable at home. All right, and then you're going to go to the macro. Sorry, things are running so slow. It's much faster than this at work. It's the remote connection. Okay, and then you're going to say you want to make a new one, which we just did. And this time you'll see there are things that we want to uninclude. So you're going to uncheck the check all button. Just pick the thing you want and say, or whatever you want to name it. And then you'll just go back and delete the macro that you had before. So your course gastro corrected, and then you would just go to the manage if you want to delete. And I'm gonna actually delete the gastro corrected, but if you had actually fixed something, you would want to delete the old bad one. I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm also gonna get rid of these duplicate rabies visits that I made on a prior demonstration, and just delete. It's as simple as that to make them go away. If you want to share a macro, or you would like to have macros shared with you, the person who has the macro would choose whichever macros they were going to give you. Let's say they were going to give you demo exam and exam 2 and demo review, and then you say export. And you're just going to put the file in a location that you can remember so that you can find it when you subsequently import it. The file will not be a file you can open. You can't open it up and see what was written in those macros. I typically drop it on the desktop. You can see that it has a name that looks about like that. You can change it if you want to. I'll change that to demos, and you save it. And then later, the other person who wants to receive the macros logs in, and they say they would like to import macros. Click the import button, whoops, pardon me, click browse button, and then you go to the desktop where you know you left it, and we called that demos. You can see there's another file here that I did not rename from an earlier demonstration, and you just say open it, and then you say import. And you can see it's fake path. It's not a file that can be opened, but it will, in fact, import those. And now I will have duplicates of all of these things because I already had them. So demo exam 2, demo review 2, it will automatically correct the name so that it doesn't overwrite things you had that were of the same name. And let me look and see at my list here. I think that's about it. The one thing that I would say is, aside from from exams and review systems, other things you might like to have macros for the scribe attestation and radiology reports reviewed. This is a very simple macro, which is almost as easy to just go into the section and make it, but since you'll probably be in this section using your macros anyway, you'll likely want to make one to make it single click from a place where you already were. It drops this in, and that helps our QA report build so that our nurses can find the radiology report reviewed, which means they don't have to figure out if there's a discrepancy or do anything about it. They can trust that we saw the radiologist report and acted on it if we needed to. So that saves them a lot of time. All right, that's it for macros. Thanks.